So I'm here today with Lui Temelkovski to find out about his election campaign as Liberal candidate for the Oak Ridges riding. So Lui, thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
I appreciate you hanging around.
Thank you. So to get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm married. We have 4 children. I came to Canada when I was 13 years old. I didn't speak a word of English, and some people still think I don't. But I went to school here from grade 7 onwards. I went to college, university, and then I worked in the financial industry for 20 years with London Life.
Okay.
After which I ran for office for the first time ever.
Okay.
When I went home to tell my family I want to run, we have 4 children, and they said, "Old man, you've gone mad." So here we are.
Okay, and so you represented the riding, or one similar to it. The ridings have changed a little bit in for the Liberal Party in the previous term, and then you had a tight election race the last time around. What's different this time?
Now I'm running from behind.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to close the gap and get ahead. The last time when I was elected in 2004, we won by a large margin, and second in 2006 again. But the third time it was very tight. So we've got extra help, and we're pounding the pavement every day as much as we can.
Okay. Now, everyone's fairly familiar with the national leaders' policies and campaign issues. But what we're really interested in for Stouffville Connects is the local issues. What to you are the most important local issues you would want to focus on if elected?
Making sure that our office is open on a regular basis, and we hear the residents from the constituents. We deal with their issues rather than saying, that I'm busy all the time and not returning their calls. That's an important part, as I did it for 4 years. I was lucky enough to hire good staff, and that comes with experience, because I had recruited and hired and trained a lot of people over the years with London Life. So I knew that I was the green one when I first was elected, and therefore I had to get some experienced staff that would help us with dealing with the public. So I had one lady who was an assistant to an MP for about 12 years. Another gentleman who was there for about 7 years, and a third lady up in Ottawa for about, she had worked with even a minister for about 8 years, ministerial experience. And I hired one green guy with me, who was with me every day of the campaign.
Okay. When you're out pounding the pavement, what are the residents saying to you? What are you hearing?
What I'm hearing is that they've asked, they wanted to try and give Stephen Harper the last time a test drive. And now they want to jump off the bus.
Okay.
Yeah, they're ready to switch. They're not very happy with the agenda, the secretness, the democracy that's dwindling.
But at the local level, are there issues like rural internet? Are you hearing about some different issues locally?
Yes. Thanks for reminding me. When I was in the Parliament, I brought in a private member's motion about rural mail delivery. And it was unanimously supported in the Parliament from all parties. You may have heard that some 800,000 rural mailboxes across Canada, their mail kind of ceased overnight. And all of a sudden, these green boxes appeared at corners, which were temporary, and they weren't even notified where they were or anything like that. Locally, what had happened in Vandorf, a group of 14 mailboxes, green boxes, were put in front of this small, beautiful church. And it obstructed the view of the church, and so on and so forth. So they had called my office, and we had arranged immediately with Canada Post to move them around. But that was not the solution. That was the Band-Aid solution. And that's why I brought in the private members bill. That was one of the issues. We held meetings in the riding at the time. And I hear still the issue is not resolved. Although the motion passed in the Parliament unanimously, it needs to be funded. It needs to be directed. I know the president of Canada Post, every time she saw me, she was skirmishing because I was always asking the tough questions. Now, I have to be honest that even the Conservatives were very upset with Canada Post that they weren't moving fast enough. But now it's 5 years later, and that's why people are saying, you know what? They went in to clean up. They went into, they being the Conservative, they went to clean up, to change the way business is done in Ottawa. Now we're in deeper trouble than ever before. We got a deficit. We're talking about contempt of Parliament. We're talking about secrecy. We're talking about not, remember, or only 5 questions, Canadians, that's not the Canada that Canadians want. That's what I'm hearing at the door, along with healthcare, education, and so on.
Yeah, healthcare is certainly an important topic. What is your view on that?
Healthcare is a very important issue. Both my parents passed away in Canada, and I'm glad that I was able to participate in some of these policy-making platforms in recommending some of these suggestions to our party, where we allow or we provide for families to take care of their loved ones at the end of life, to be able to take 6 months off. I know my mom didn't want to go to the hospital in the last events, and she wanted to be looked after at home, where she could speak her language, she could eat her food for as little as she, even though she didn't eat very much at the end, but she wanted to be with us. So my brother and I, we took shifts in looking after her. Now we're putting that into practice and having people being able to take up to 6 months off and having some financial incentives for them within the employment benefits contract.
What about small business and the business community and the broader business community as well?
Small business and medium-sized business is the economic engine of Canada. Yeah. Some parties will tell you it's corporate Canada that creates jobs, which is a total myth, It is small business to medium-sized businesses that create jobs, that create opportunities. So what we'd like to do is go back to the 2010 corporate tax rates, which will save some money. Also use that money to help students enter the workforce after they're graduating, whether it's high school, college, or university. And we will be incenting small and medium-sized businesses to hire new graduates. As I mentioned, with 4 kids, we have one graduated 2 years ago. Yeah. She has yet to find a permanent job. She is a teacher, and I know teaching jobs come in cycles. I know when I graduated in '81, there were hardly any jobs for teachers. But she is now into a system part-time. But we need to work with small and medium-sized businesses to incent them for to recruit and hire new graduates.
Okay. Now, of course, the election signs have been a little bit controversial.
They
so
have.
I'm going to ask about that. We now have Bring Back Louis, but before it was re-elect. Do you want to give us your take on? Yeah,
I heard that there used to be a song, or there is a song, Bring Back Louis. I don't know the song, as I didn't grow up in Canada, and it's an old song. Maybe you won't even remember.
I know that song.
It was some elder Canadians here that told me there used to be a song. But what ended up happening was, as Mr. Harper triggered this election, we were not prepared. Okay. So we got the signs. We had the signs. We've been storing them for the last 2 years. So we're not going to be caught, inappropriately. So what we did was we put up the signs as quickly as possible. Then we started receiving calls from both sides. We had people calling and saying, send us a re-elect sign, send us an old sign, send us a recycle sign. And why did you use re-elect? Why didn't you use a tape? Why didn't you, you're confusing people. I don't think there's a confusion. I mean, when you look at this sign and you look at the other sign, you know which is which. Whether it says bring back, whether it says elect, whether it says re-elect, or it says whatever it says on it. A red sign is a red sign, a blue sign is a blue sign. But we did listen, we discussed, and we made some decisions.
Okay.
And we went ahead with bring back. In a federal campaign, the role of the candidate is to do whatever his team says.
Okay.
And I was a very good boy and listened to my team,
Okay.
and we discussed ideas, and they made the decisions. I didn't even know they were going with one word or another, but I commend them because many people have commented that it's a good slogan, bring back Lui.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you about the Pickering Airport lands, and that's always a very hot topic in Stouffville in particular.
Yes.
So what can you say about where the Liberal Party stands in terms of those lands and the use of those lands?
As far as I know, and I'll tell you my perspective on it, I remember years and years ago, I was a new Canadian at the time when the expropriation occurred in Pickering. But when Michael Ignatieff was here last year, there were a number of questions of him about whether we will go ahead with the lands with the Pickering Airport. And he said that we will not be going with the Pickering Airport. Now, while I was in Ottawa, there were many discussions at the time. And there are different regions in the GTA area, some that would like to have a large airport like Pearson in their area. So I believe they're looking at alternatives.
Okay.
I was involved as a member of parliament here when some of the homes on the Pickering land were torn down, and without municipal discussions. When Mr. Harper was the Prime Minister, and they didn't consult with the municipalities about tearing down some homes, and it didn't go over very well because some of the homes were designated as heritage homes by Markham. Unfortunately, a heritage designations is a multi-layer designation. You can have a municipal heritage, a provincial heritage, or federal heritage. So they didn't fit within the federal heritage structure, but they did fit with the municipal. And the communication, I tried to facilitate that afterwards to make sure that there will be no heritage homes that are designated by the local government or municipality, that they would not be torn down before or prior to them being torn down, that they should be discussing it with the municipality, Markham, to see whether Markham wants to do something like move them. We have a beautiful heritage road up the street on 48th and 16th where homes are being moved from all over the Markham area. People love them. I love old homes. I grew up in a very old home in Macedonia, and here we tend to stay in one area. In terms of when we move, I haven't moved for 23 years, so we keep our homes and we keep fixing the roofs and the leaky roofs and so on and so forth. But I think the airport land, I'm not in favor of that as well.
Okay. And of course, we're losing Buttonville, and I don't know if we're too far along to even reconsider that as an option to go backwards. But do you think York Region needs some kind of an airport or small air access?
I believe that if we're going to continue with business development in Markham, and Markham is known for the business community, we will need some sort of a transportation that's closer.
Okay.
We have again, a very controversial airport in Markham on Markham Road, and there's the regional airport in Oshawa. So between the two or three airports, there has to be a greater discussion with GTAA, and make sure that we do what is proper for not only for the people of Stouffville, but for everybody. You know, and if there is a decision to go with an airport in Hamilton or maybe even further east, I'm not sure what conservatives are thinking on that. But for sure, we've said that we will not be in favor of an airport.
Okay. Do you have any parting thoughts to share with the people who watch this and are looking for?
I have lots of ideas I like to share. One of the most important one is to invite every listener and viewer to come out on May the 2nd and vote. We had a very low turnout rate in the 2008 election. It was 56.7% in our riding, which was 10% lower than the previous time. And it just happened to be that the last election was part of during the Christmas holiday. And now, again, our bright Prime Minister has called an election, and advance polls will be over Good Friday and Easter weekend. That's not going to encourage people.
Did the Prime Minister have a choice about when the Parliament is dissolved, but when the election race would?
The Prime Minister is not directly involved in it, but he could have found ways to deal with opposition parties to find a better time to go, because it was ultimately his call.
Okay.
And so I would ask the people to come out, and we are in favor of internet or voting. We want to engage younger people the next time around, so we'll be suggesting to Elections Canada that they should look at voting online. As in Markham, we can vote online. There's people that are not computer literate that would prefer to go do a ballot, and they can do that. But we've got to transition, as I'm trying to transition within our campaign from one generation to the next. I think in voting we can make steps in the right direction, which is to engage the youth and have them vote. And if it makes it easier to vote online, so be it.
Okay. And so before people go out on May the 2nd, and hopefully they will go out and vote on May the 2nd, how can they find out about you? How can they come out to some events that you might be attending? What should they do if they want to learn more about Lui?
They can go on our website. They can call our number.
Your website is?
Lui Temelkovski @liberal.
Okay, we'll put it on the video then.
Yeah. .ca or something like that.
Okay, so they can go on your website.
They can go on our website.
And your campaign office?
My campaign office is at 64 Main Street, Markham.
Okay.
Right on Main Street, Markham, not Unionville, but Markham, which is just north of Highway 7. And
Highway 48 as well as a lot
Highway
of people
48
yeah.
would know. That's right. That's right. They can go on my Facebook. We are tweeting daily as well.
Okay.
So we're trying to modernize and move into the next phase of ways to do electioneering in the coming years.
Okay, and I can also, I understand, in Stouffville, see a debate with the 4 candidates for the Stouffville area on, what is it, April the 29th? There'll be a debate? Or is it?
There will be a debate. I'm not sure which date it is.
Okay.
As I said initially, I just, as a good candidate, they tell me where to go, and they tell me day by day where to go.
Okay, well, we're going to put it on Stouffville.
Please, we will have the date for you.
Okay, great.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. It's a nice pleasure to talk to you today, and I wish you the best of luck on May the 2nd.
Thank you very much, and all the best, and please come out and vote on May the 2nd.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks very much.